Hey everyone, it's Keith McGinnis here, KCDC Designs out of Eagle, Nebraska. Let's make a beautiful vanity top using the Claramarble technique. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so let's get the Claramarble technique going on this piece here. This is a bathroom vanity for customer. So I'm gonna take my isopropyl alcohol and I'm just gonna get some down on the surface, and then we'll start getting some colors down. I've already done a sample board, so I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to go with. This color is called Smoky Ocean, and I want to try to make sure that I get some on the backsplashes. That is, I think, Caribbean Sea. That's copper. Gonna get a little bit of brown in there. Yeah, a little 007 gold. Warm gray. This is turquoise blue. Very iridescent color, really cool. And last one is a little bit of smoky blue. All right, move that around with some heat. Hair dryer. And I'm not going to want to cover this entire project because I've got some really cool undertones, which is some white metallic. Wow, I like that already. Wow, my gosh, I like that already. I want to get a little bit up here in the corner. For the warm gray, I think. And then I want to fade this down in this way. No, maybe not. I think I'm going to leave that right where that's at. Got to get a little more color in there. Wow, I really like that. Hey, we're off to a good start. The sink is going to take up a lot, which is really unfortunate. So let's get some down in this area. And if I get some alcohol on my drop edge, then I know I'm going to get that to flow down there a little bit as well. Oh, look what I did there. Gosh, dang it. Gotta be careful when you put this alcohol on here. So what I did there, when I added more alcohol to that lower corner piece, some of that alcohol splashed up onto the area that I just got through doing. So be careful when you put your alcohol down that you're not splashing it and getting it on an area that, you know, that you really liked. But Thing is, if you did, you can just add a little bit more alcohol to it, add a little bit more color to it, or if you really don't like it at all, spray it down with isopropyl alcohol, wipe it off, and start over. Now, regarding your questions as far as what colors that I'm using, Clara Lawrence from Clara Lawrence Art really perfected this technique. It's where I learned it from. But Clara created a color mixing guide. So go to claralawrence.com and purchase her alcohol dye mixing guide, and it'll show you all of the colors and how to mix them to get the colors that you want. So what I'm doing here is I'm just getting my colors spread out across the surface the way I want them. Here I've got the colors a little bit lighter, so I'm talking about how I want to blend all of those in together and tie all of those in together. And so that's what I'll be doing through the rest of the project.
I'm going to have to lighten this up a little bit. Once that stands up, that's going to match that really well. The sink is going to take out a lot of this. So I need to make sure I get some of these colors tied in to come around this way.
So I'm going to speed up as I continue on through filling up this project. You can add as little or as many colors as you want, and the different colors that you want. You can see that I am adding quite a few colors, and I'm doing that intentionally because of what the customer wanted based upon the sample board that I created. And keep in mind also, if you find an area you don't like, you can spray it down with isopropyl alcohol, wipe it off, and continue on. And so that's what I'm doing here, is just kind of filling up the rest of the area. I do want to leave some of the undertones showing through, which is the white area. And again, a lot of that will be cut out where the sink is going to go in, but at the end, you'll kind of see once it's installed. So again, I'm just adding in the colors and just blowing that out with a hairdryer until I get it the way I like it. And it's really a fairly simple technique. It's just kind of getting it laid out the way you like it.
That's it. Now, I'm going to look at my edges, and I'm going to look at where I see that I might have what looks like drips or runs, and just take some alcohol and put that right over the edge. So see this edge right in here? I want to clean that up because that's going to be the top edge. That's what's going to show. And then we've got a little bit down here as well. So let's focus on this edge, and I'll just show you what I do here to kind of clean that up. So I'm just going to take some and I'm just going to squeeze some across the top right there. And I'm going to get one other color in there. And then we got that edge cleaned up. Something is going on right there. I got some little dots and little specks. Let's get the camera back over there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see those little dots and little specks right there? I know the sink is going to go in there and it's going to cover that, but before the sink goes in, the customer's still going to see it, right? And to me, it looks kind of flawed. So I'm going to get just a little bit of color on there, just to try to take that out. And where that happens and why that does that is because when you're working it and it flows down, it stops right there at the ledge. But if you work that ledge, you can see there where you get much more of a cleaner type edge and a cleaner type look. Okay, so this has had a chance to dry overnight. Again, this is the Claramarble technique, and I've explained the fact that we're using alcohol dyes and some mica powders mixed in with the 91% isopropyl alcohol. Now it's time to seal this down. Ideally, I would like to be able to find the Krylon UV archival spray in the matte finish, and I can find it, but I can only find it online. But what I also found is Krylon also makes the Krylon matte finish, and this is non-yellowing. dries in minutes, permanent protective matte finish. This I've been able to find locally, so this is what I'm going to use to seal this down. Now it's important that these are very, very light coats. All I'm going to do is basically just dust the surface with this, and because I just want to seal down the alcohol dyes and the mica powders, because once that 91% isopropyl alcohol evaporates, all you're left with is the mica powders and the dyes on the surface. And we need to seal those down so when the clear coat goes over the top, it doesn't reactivate those colors and cause those colors to smear or to run. So I'm just going to apply, again, light coats, dusting coats, get my exhaust system turned on.
So a couple things to note here is, one, make sure you wear a respirator. You want to be really careful to make sure you spray that under edge, because when you apply your clear coat and you roll that epoxy under the edge, you want to make sure you're not going to pick up any of those dyes or mica powders and spread that across the surface.
All right, so I've got a clear coat that I'm going to be adding to this bathroom vanity. Now I'm going to be using the Amazing Quick Coat, so I know I'm going to be very limited on time.
Now the reason here that I'm using the Amazing Quick Coat, which is a fantastic product because it's a rapid set and it sets up very quickly, and I have a small enough area that I knew I would be okay with using the Amazing Quick Coat because of the fact that it does set up quickly. It is a small area and is going to self-level. You want to be really careful when you are using a trowel to put down your clear coat to use that epoxy kind of as a buffer so you don't scrape the surface that you just got through creating, right? So the Amazing Quick Coat, that's still mixed at 1-to-1 ratio. I'm able to lay that down and then within a matter of about 4 or 5 hours, I'm actually able to go back over it and apply my Ultimate Top Coat.
Okay, we're going to put UTC Gloss, Ultimate Top Coat Gloss, on this piece. It's a pretty small piece. This is a bathroom vanity top. And I called for a little less than 3 ounces. So I'm mixing up 3 ounces, and then with 3 ounces of Ultimate Top Coat, when you're working with gloss, the amount of water you're going to add is you're going to take your total ounces of Ultimate Top Coat times 0.5. So if I have 3 ounces of Ultimate Top Coat Gloss, I'm going to add 1.5 ounces of water, as well as distilled water. I always use distilled water on my Ultimate Top Coat, whether I'm using gloss or natural. This piece has been sanded with 220. It's been wiped down with paper towels, and then I also wiped it down with 91% isopropyl alcohol, and then I also went over it with my what I call my homemade lint roller, which is putting tape backwards on a paint roller to pick up any debris that may still be left on the surface. And in my opinion, there's always some debris left from the sanding that you're just not able to get it all off with just wiping it off. I know this because I always find debris on that tape. Okay, so I'm not going to use a paint tray because of the small amount of Ultimate Top Coat that I have. Again, I've only have 3 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this on the surface, and then I'm going to saturate my roller once I get the product poured onto the surface. I have 2 rollers ready. I have 1 wet roller and 1 dry roller. I don't believe I'm going to need more than 1. I usually prep 2 just in case, you know, something happens, and anything could happen. All right, I got it mixed up well. I've wiped off my stick well to make sure I don't have any unmixed product. And the clock is ticking, so let's get it rolling. And I have already de-shedded my rollers as well. And I'm going to make sure I get everything covered. I'm going to make sure I get my edges. When you get your edges, make sure you roll underneath that bottom edge. And I want to make sure again that I got ample amount of product on the surface. And that I've been rolling it out evenly. All right, the surface is covered well. I'm going to back roll one last time. And that's going to eliminate any of my heavy lap lines. I'm using very little pressure. Actually, I'm not using any pressure. And then I'm going to grab my dry roller and do the same thing. Weight of the roller goes to the outside. And that's it. Catch my edges. That's it. My backsplashes are off camera, so I'm going to come over here and do my backsplashes.
And now that's it. So let's do a final flyover. There's the edges that I tended to. That really helps to get rid of those runs or drips. The project turned out really, really well. I like the colors. The customer likes the colors and how they all turned out. At times when the glare gets in there just right, you can see how that 007 gold really pops. And there is an alternative. I can't think, old gold I think is what it's called. Kind of an alternative. And then here is the product after it was installed. As always, thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments or questions. Please click the subscribe button and hit that like button, and I'll let you know for any upcoming tutorials. So thank you so much again. I really, really appreciate it. And this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs. Take care, y'all, and see you on the next video.